have this emergency press briefing by the Rivers State National Assembly Caucus to condemn Senator Seriake Dickson's unwarranted comments on Rivers State emergency rule. As members of the Rivers State Caucus and the National Assembly, we watched with utter dismay the vituperations of Senator Henry Seriake Dickson of Bayelsa West Senatorial District in his press briefing, wherein he expressed his anger at the emergency rule in Rivers State and chided the President of the Federal Republic for not using his June 12 address before the National Assembly to restore suspended Governor Seriake Fubara to office. Let it be categorically stated that Rivers State is not under military rule. The current administrator of the state, Vice Admiral retired Ebok Ete Ebas, is a retired military officer, just as Senator Seriake Dickson is himself a retired police corporal, but a serving senator. Both of them cannot be serving personnel of the armed forces. The implication of retirement is clear. Once an officer retires, he becomes a civilian, and any leadership role he occupies is subject to civilian laws, norms, and democratic oversight. To label the current administration as military rule is therefore misleading and intellectually disingenuous. The declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State was a necessary constitutional intervention aimed at preserving peace, protecting lives, and restoring institutional order. The decision was not taken lightly. It was prompted by the rising tide of political instability and executive rascality within the state. Also, the disregard for democratic institutions was one of the reasons why we had that declaration. This position was also affirmed by the Supreme Court judgment of February 28, 2025, wherein the Supreme Court clearly stated that there was indeed no government in the state the way it was being operated then. It is imperative to highlight that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, acted swiftly and decisively to prevent the escalation of violence and systemic breakdown that loomed over our beloved state. The bold step averted a full-blown crisis. Without that timely intervention, orchestrated chaos would have overwhelmed the mechanism of governance and civil society in the state. The state of emergency declared in Rivers State is not a breach of the Constitution. Rather, it is a legitimate tool provided in Section 305 of our Constitution to restore sanity when democratic structures are under serious threat. It is in fact only recently the suspended governor himself, Governor Seriake Fubara, publicly thanked Mr. President for saving the day when he declared the state of emergency in Rivers State. Therefore, Senator Seriake Dickson, the retired police corporal, cannot cry more than the bereaved. It is extremely unfortunate that a former governor, a serving senator, and a retired police corporal, who by virtue of his police training is expected to maintain law and order, decided to make undemocratic utterances capable of causing a breakdown of law and order in Rivers State, whilst indigents of the state are still on the path of seeking for peace, for us to ensure that we protect the lives of our people in the state. It is on record that Senator Dickson, in one of his numerous visits to the suspended governor, promoted ethnic bigotry and biases that misled the governor and ultimately led to his suspension. Senator Dickson is at it again. Recall, too, that the retired Corporal Dickson, as a serving governor of Bayelsa State, desecrated the judiciary when he led thugs and armed men to disperse and disrupt proceedings of a federal high court. With the antecedent of Senator Dickson, we clearly hold that he is not qualified. He is grossly incompetent and unfit to claim to protect democracy. When he had the opportunity as a chief executive, his records are there. They speak for themselves. Consequently, the caucus cautions Senator Seriake Dickson, the Rivers State Caucus, unequivocally and clearly sends a clear caution and warning to Senator Seriake Dickson to stay clear from inciting Rivers people into any form of violence or attempting to cause any breakdown of law and order in our state. He is from Bayelsa State. If he wants to cause problem or crisis anywhere, let him go back to his home and do so. We will also call on the security agencies to put a tab on him and his actions, which are likely and capable of causing a breach of peace, particularly now that the state is working towards restoring peace amongst our citizens. We will also call on the Senate Committee on Ethics to commence investigation into the unparliamentary actions of Seriake Dickson. And as a caucus, we will stand firm to follow up on this and ensure that this attitude, condemnable attitude of Senator Seriake Dickson, is completely addressed. We want to thank you for your patience and pray that at the end of this press briefing, perhaps if you have one or two things, we will be ready to
tell you that I align absolutely with what the leader of our caucus, the minority leader of the House of Representatives, has just told you. It's our collective view, and we agreed. But fortunately, I'm in the same chamber in the Senate with Senator Seriake Dickson. And I know that those of us from Niger Delta will have enormous duty, with all people enormous duty and contributions to make. I'm equally aware that Bayelsa State, especially Bayelsa West, need a lot of this activism to bring the dividends of democracy to them. I want to tell you that these things are lacking. The appointments you have in Bayelsa today are the appointments that they got through their relationship with Rivers State. I'm not too sure that my colleague has attracted anyone to his state. None. I am also aware that one of the most backward states in the country in terms of infrastructure is Bayelsa. And so this energy could be channeled towards activities that will improve the infrastructural problems of Bayelsa State. So I join in appealing to my colleague, Seriake Dickson, that we should kill negative energy in our politics in Niger Delta. Thank you very much.